Let's talk about St. Petersburg, Russia. It's a city that's almost impossible to pin down. It's this place of just breathtaking beauty, but also some really haunting secrets. A city of grand imperial dreams and revolutionary nightmares. We're going to dive into this incredible city of paradox. This quote right here, it just nails it. It's a place of absolute extremes. On one hand, you have this unbelievable opulence, right? And on the other, it's all built on a foundation of just immense suffering. So how in the world did this paradox, this city built on bones, even come to be? All right, so first up, an impossible bone-built city. We have to start at the very beginning, with the bones themselves. We're going to look at how this place was born out of sheer willpower against nature and the unbelievable human price of one man's dream. I mean, that sounds insane, right? A freezing swamp at the very edge of the Baltic Sea. Why would you ever build your capital city there? Well, Peter the Great had this singular driving ambition. He was determined to drag Russia into the modern world. And to do that, he felt he needed a grand capital that faced Europe, his window to the West. And this is where you really see that core conflict in action. On one side, you have this magnificent vision, this dream of a modern European-style capital. But on the other side, the brutal reality. This dream was built by tens of thousands of serfs and laborers, and so many of them died from the cold, from disease, their bodies literally becoming part of the city's foundation. So yeah, that dark nickname, the city built on bones, it's not just some spooky poetry. It is a literal description. It's this haunting reminder that from its very first day, St. Petersburg's incredible beauty was completely tangled up with its tragedy. And that tension is just etched into its soul. Okay, so from this tragic beginning, something incredible starts to grow. Let's look at how this city transformed into one of the most beautiful, treasure-filled places on the entire planet. But as you're about to find out, in a city built with such a desperate need to impress, well, not everything was quite as it seemed. To really get a sense of the scale of this imperial ambition, all you have to do is look at the Winter Palace. It's not just a building, it's a massive statement. It has over 1,000 rooms. Can you even wrap your head around that? The sheer power and opulence on display is just staggering. And held within that gigantic palace is a collection of art and culture that is truly mind-blowing. The Hermitage isn't just a museum, it's an entire world of treasures, all gathered to prove Russia's place on the world stage. 3 million items. That's the staggering size of this collection. We're talking masterpieces by Leonardo da Vinci, Rembrandt, Picasso, and just countless other priceless artifacts. It's almost unbelievable. And okay, to put that number into perspective, get this. If you spent just 1 minute looking at every single piece in the museum, no sleeping, no eating, it would take you more than 5 years to see everything. 5 years! But maybe the most unusual staff members at the museum are its cats. Yup, for centuries, a whole squad of felines has officially been on the payroll at the Hermitage to protect its priceless treasures from mice and rats. They are the true silent guardians of the collection. But remember what I said about things not always being what they seem? For all its genuine splendor, St. Petersburg was also a city of illusion. To project immense wealth and impress all those European visitors, a lot of buildings used architectural tricks. Facades were painted to look like expensive stone, and plaster was molded to look just like marble. The whole thing was kind of like a grand, beautiful stage set. Now, the city's drama didn't end with the Tsars. Not by a long shot. The grand stage they built was about to become the setting for some of the 20th century's most pivotal and brutal events. Boom! 1917. This city becomes the absolute epicenter of the Russian Revolution. The storming of the Winter Palace, right here, marked the explosive end of a 300-year-old dynasty. The entire imperial world, with all its grandeur and illusions, it just vanished, almost overnight. But, if you can believe it, an even darker chapter was coming. During World War II, the city, which was called Leningrad by then, was subjected to one of the longest and most destructive sieges in all of human history. 872 days. Just try to imagine that. For nearly 2.5 years, the city was completely cut off. People were facing starvation, constant bombing, and brutal freezing temperatures. Over 1 million civilians died. The scale of the suffering is almost impossible to comprehend. And yet, the city's spirit never broke. In this incredible act of defiance, starving musicians performed Shostakovich's Leningrad Symphony right there, in the besieged city. And they broadcast it over loudspeakers for everyone to hear, their own citizens and the enemy forces outside. It was this powerful message: we are still here. Out of that unbelievable resilience, the modern city emerged. It's a place that still carries all of its history in its bones, but it's also known for this unique, enchanting kind of magic that comes from its really strange geography. So remember that swamp the city was built on? Well, it was turned into this incredible network of canals, with over 300 bridges crisscrossing the city. It's really no wonder they call it the Venice of the North. The water is as much a part of its character as the palace is. But the real magic, that happens in the summer, during the white nights. For weeks, darkness never really falls. The sun just dips below the horizon and the sky glows with this soft, ethereal light all through the night. It's a time for festivals and the whole city just feels electric. And this brings us right back to the final paradox. For everything we know about St. Petersburg, it's still a city that keeps its secrets. There are still rumors of hidden tunnels connecting palaces, secret rooms, and countless stories just buried right beneath that beautiful surface. It's a legacy of its dramatic and clandestine past. You see, it's a city you don't just visit. It's a story you step into. A story of bones and beauty, of resilience and illusion. So I'll leave you with this question. Knowing all of its darkness and all of its light, would you walk its glowing midnight streets?